What's good, family? All high frequency beings, thanks for tapping in. This is a carryover from my YouTube video. This is YouTube from my TikTok video. So I was talking about the way our vessels, specifically our brain, processes the photon light from the sun. And the energy, my bad, I got a message. And the energy. So, basically, just in case you didn't see the TikTok video, I was speaking about the solar flares. Now, a brief synopsis of what's occurring right now on that filter. When you hear me say filter and transformer, I'm talking about the sun. Some people call it a portal. The only reason I don't call it a portal is because the original portal that they speak of, where photon light enters the realm multidimensionally, has been compromised by a filter and what some of us know as a fake sun. It's really just, a lot of this stuff is way more simple. Like, bro, this shit's so simple. I said I was gonna figure it out, and this is what I've been doing. This is what I do. So, and this is the times we are in. We had a time when we was preparing our vessels. Everybody was fasting, preparing ourselves for evolution, and we was just fasting, water fasting so much. Then we had a phase. They kind of coincided where we was gaining the knowledge. Was watching the lectures, all the knowledge that was laid down in the 90s and early 2000s by like people like Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine. I usually don't name drop, but in this case, it's a little necessary. Malachi Z. York, a lot of different teachers. You may not have agreed with everything they said, and their truth evolved if you watch them enough. A lot of things they said sometimes, it may have sounded contradictory, but it was their truth evolving as they was also evolving as a personal person besides a master teacher that they was growing into. So anyway, we had that era where we was obtaining knowledge, reading books, and getting lectures. Then we had a time of initiation, as I like to call it, where we underwent a lot of type of attacks as we was growing and growing. Now is the time to put all of this stuff into action. It's almost like the last Mortal Kombat movie where they rounded them up. They rounded the chosen ones up, or the warriors that was going to fight in the tournament. And they started training them. And as they was training them, remember, the bad guys kept popping up. They kept popping up, trying to get rid of them and their teachers before they could get to where they was going to be, ultimately triumphing them in terms of power and all that type of stuff. That's really what's transpiring right now. It's just like, on a more realistic level. This YouTube. So I'm gonna get back to what I was saying about the sun, but I like to be free on my YouTube channel. So that's basically what happened. Now, with all that being said, we're gonna get back into the sun. So what's happening now? That's relative to what I was just speaking about, from the process of preparing the vessel physically, gaining the knowledge mentally, growing spiritually, and now taking physical action with everything summed up and encapsulated in these vessels. So, the sun gives us light, cold energy. We always say that. Everybody says that, right? What the fuck is light cold energy? Okay. Light cold energy is all those three things in one. It's light. It's intense light. Sunlight. It's intense light. Light right now, light is coming from a higher dimension that's transforming this dimension. So it's light. We know that because we can see it. It's also photons in this light. And that brings a physical aspect to this light, but this is still a micro piece of a physical, almost like a piece of an atom. Like, they do a lot of stuff with the ions in the atmospheres too. It's a lot of quantum physics going on, you know? So much where I'm gonna get to that. All right, so now we know that there's photons in the light. Now, what are photons? Oh, I wish I could post that definition. I don't have my laptop or my desktop on. So a photon is described as a massless, very, like I was saying, they even described it as massless, very small particle that is described as light energy. That is described as light energy. And get this, stage of Aquarius, I got this off Google. Electromagnetic radiation. Now, this leads us to the next part of it. We got light. So we got photon light energy. What is radiation? It's a form of energy, right? And specifically speaking, they refer to it as ultraviolet radiation. All right, I'm gonna dive more deep into the science of this later, but I just wanted to make sure I had the exact definitions as this room describes things, because you know it's a lot of shit been changing with the timelines. They like to flip the information, but anyway, ultraviolet radiation is described as a type of light emitted specifically by the sun. This type of ultraviolet radiation, because you have UAB and UVB, I think, and it's a piece on the Roy G. Biv spectrum that's higher than the violent end of it. With Roy G. Biv, you know, those are all acronyms for the colors. V being at the end, being violet. Pretty much saying this is higher energy than what can be perceived based on what has been programmed and instilled in us through information we receive from the sun or the transformer. Now, that whole explanation right there was perfect for what I'm about to say. So, if that's the case, if the sun gives us information, it gives us energy, and it gives us the codes we need to visibly perceive what we know as reality. The hologram. You see why it's a hologram now? You see why this shit is a hologram now? Cause, okay, I'm getting a little far ahead. All right, hold up. All right, I went and got my other phone so I could just read this stuff. Okay, this is how it is described as how the brain and the eye work. The eyes work together to project light. When light hits the retina, special cells, that's a part of the eye. It's at the back of the eye. The back of the eye, where the brain is. Special cells called photoreceptors turn the light into electrical signals. These electrical signals travel from the retina through the optic nerve to the brain. The brain turns the signals into the images you see. All right, no lies told. So, now you see why this shit is a hologram, right? I'll elaborate. So, we receive, remember I told you that we get light information through photons and quote unquote electromagnetic radiation to give us energy. So we get information, light, and energy from the sun, these three things, right? Keep that in mind. So these three things, they come in through the retina on our vessels. They come in through our lenses, right? Eyes are the windows to the soul. They come in through to our lenses. Then it comes to the photoreceptors that are attached in the brain. And as the photoreceptors receive this light, energy, and information, where does it go? Out of anywhere it can go on this. This is how these vessels are made. Where does it go? Out of all the places it can go, other places it can go. It goes to the brain. It goes to the mind, the brain, right? So after the brain gets these signals, electrical signals. Remember, this is all from light, just light. But now we know it's information and energy. And this is giving a more detailed synopsis of this. So this light and this information, energy in the form of light is received by our brain electrically. Now remember, everything is modeled to work the way our vessels work. So electricity is what powers things and enables them to interact with the components that makes up whatever it may be. If it's a radio and it got a motherboard and it got speaker receivers, all of that type of stuff is transmitted through electrical signals, just like our brain. So we get this energy, we get this information, we get this light. It goes into our brain. Our brain says, okay, boom, it starts working. Remember, this is information too. It's processing the information that came in the form of light. And based on whatever that information is, it got from this light, just like Google said, it then projects and gives us an image that we know as reality. Now, like I was saying in my TikTok video, that could only mean that the sun is the ultimate source, the ultimate controller of this reality, within this reality. Now, outside of this reality, on the other side of that, you guessed it, yeah. There's beings helping control and constitute and give input to what is needs to be done now. Now, as above, so below. As within, so without. There is a war in the heavens just as much as there is a war here. As things are transcending and we're winning here, so is the case likewise throughout the cosmos. With that being said, the energy is changing that's entering this realm in a benevolent way. You feel me? So, when you speak about light codes and informations and downloads, this is how it will happen. This is why it's important to sun gaze. This is why it's important to go outside and get sun. This is why they fight so hard to cover the sun. Now, like I was saying on my TikTok video, for a long fucking time, a long ass time, you couldn't see the sun at first. You notice in a lot of old pictures, it'd be like bright or something, just like when the sky white and like any day here. It'd be bright, but you can't see, you don't see no sun nowhere. And a lot of these old Tartarian and old pictures, it's because they had completely compromised the sky for a long time, y'all. Like, that's how crazy this shit is. They had compromised the sky about 100 to 200 years ago. When they flooded that shit, they kind of blew one sun away. They kind of turned another one off. And we was left with what we have, and they was able to hide it for so long and keep it under wraps. And nighttime isn't normal either, man. That shit ain't normal. But anyway, what's happening now is that the sun that we have, like I was saying on my TikTok video, I keep jumping around, my bad. They had to put a filter in front of this thing. This is how they been able to walk around us, the ones that are unseen, the ones that shapeshift. It's all because, remember, we get information from the sun that constitutes what we see in this hologram. It's all because they hacked the sun. They put this filter in front of the sun. Let's say my face is the sun. They put this filter in front of the sun. And I did a Sun vs. Moon series like last year, and I was talking about this, about the filter that's in front of the sun. And I used a series of I forgot exactly what it was in the medical field, but it was a device that they used that they put filters in alter the images to see different things based on different systems of the body. Like they could take one image, and depending on what filter they use, they could use that image to look at the circulatory system or the nerves and not see other things. Real simple. I tell you, that shit's simple. Simple. That's all they did. That's all they did, man. They put a filter up there that filter what we can and cannot see. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. They don't have no fucking powers. Some of them don't really shape shit. They do it to an extent, but what they do is kind of like they have to stay within the frequency and the parameters of don't you know, I'm not 100% sure yet, but they have to pretty much stay within the frequencies and the parameters of this filter. See, this filter that they use, this filter has precise frequencies and parameters that they're aware of, that they try to stay within, so they don't shapeshift, or the ones that's trying not to be seen, like that shit in Miami that happened. The ones that's trying not to be seen, they can continue to not be seen. Yeah. Dang, I'm gonna get to that later. I almost let me just talk about teleportation, cause like all this shit is holographic, man. But anyway, so what's happening now? Like I was saying on my TikTok, this filter that they had is precipitating. Like it's like the coronal hose. That's what the coronal hose is. If you got a filter in front of something, right, and the energy behind that filter is so intense, that filter is starting to deteriorate. Like, you know, it's just starting to however deteriorate. It's starting, and then you got spots coming through. That's the geomagnetic storms. With that being said, now that we understand that this light is energy, what is a geomagnetic storm? A geomagnetic storm is the rawest form of this energy I was just speaking about, that we're able to obtain and process through, somehow skipped, our neuromelanin and melanin. Now I'm gonna jump into this a little bit. You know, melanin is some of it is a byproduct of carbon. Some of it is a big stretch. Some of it is a lot more potent and concentrated. Like neuromelanin is a lot more concentrated than melanin. I really just used the word carbon. That word scares the fuck out of me. Now, many of y'all know, this is what I was going to jump into. Many of us know they want to regulate carbon emissions. I'm offended. The fuck? I made a carbon, and y'all telling me y'all want to minimize the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. That don't sound right. If I need water, we need water, and a motherfucker telling you that that we got to get rid of this water. This water dangerous, cause they don't have a significant amount of carbon. They are well aware of that. They're actually comprised of more sulfur than anything, and that's another topic. So you got carbon-based beings, and you got beings that has a synthetic form of carbon, but a more of a base of sulfur. You got two completely different beings. Remember this. So that means one of them thrives in a carbon-based environment, and the other one dies in a carbon-based environment. Well, why doesn't the carbon-based being die without the carbon? Because there's a sun inside of us. There's a sun inside of us. And this realm works much like we do, and our melanin and carbon can adapt. This realm adapts to accommodate us as best it can. So I'm gonna jump around a little bit. So if we got a filter in front of the organic, I'm just gonna call the sun God. And so if we got a false God, we got a false prophet as a filter that's playing God in front of the true form of energy that we need to receive, then you're right. We're living in an illusion. They're right. This is not our reality. This is a reality that has been forced and coerced on us by this filter. Now, this filter could also be described as the matrix, but it's actually a component of the matrix. Like we say, we're in the matrix. The matrix is pretty much, it's like a big conscious entity. There's lots of different stories about how this entity came to be, whether you read the Hopi text or the story of Enki and Enlil, or whatever polarity you want to use, you can use it. I'm gonna say we got the matrix that's working with this malevolent filter, and then we got the gods and the goddesses. Cause I mean that's really the two sides that you have. You got, and then oh man, I can't get in. But anyway, I'm gonna stop saying stuff like that. So now there's a matrix, right? It has its own people. It has this system that also uses the filter and tries to give us false light codes and has coerced this illusion around us. It also has people that are deployed to help it. If you ask me, the matrix spawns its own people. Cause look, and I know some of y'all, this may have happened to y'all. I didn't goddamn, it's too loud out here. I didn't goddamn been chilling. You know, always looking around, doing something in my car or something. And that motherfucker just pop up and start walking down the street. And I know because I could discern, and I'm empathic, we all are. I know that motherfucker is something malevolent because of the energy he giving off. And then if you chilling anywhere and it's NPCs popping up and it's like the same motherfucking one every time, hey, I'm gonna keep it real. That motherfucker might be walking out of thin air. See, we all know this grid is this is an electrical grid we on. This is a grid. Yeah, it's true. And the reason why we say it's a grid because this thing is conscious. Some areas hold more energy than others based on geographical things. But these geographical things, regardless of how you want to put it, they can't be moved. They're natural, right? Even the tree that we had here, it was the center of the grid. It was the center of the grid. And what we are is we like a little electrical signals. Perfect way to put it. We are like little electrical signals that move around the grid, right? We move around, and as we move around the grid, depending on individual frequencies, and like a lot of people say, we're all one and everything is woven. That the woven part is true, but we're not all one. I'm about to explain it. So, as we move around as electrical signals on this grid, we control the energy pretty much. 10-10 I say. We control the energy on this grid. And like I said before, that's why they like to play with the traffic and create traffic and cause traffic on the interstates, because the interstates are like the most frequent and popular wires. If this is a motherboard, the interstates are the wires, the big gauge wires, the big ones. If you ever did anything with electrical work, you know you got small wires with little smaller gauges, and they hold smaller currencies and frequencies of energy. Then you got like the big 8 and 12 gauge wires for something that need a lot of energy going into it. Like a speaker wire, you might have an 8 gauge wire, and a little light bulb wire for a blinker that might be like just, you know, your little small normal audio wire. So the interstate is going to be the big 8, 12, 16, maybe 32 gauge speaker wires type, ant wire type shit. And the little streets and shit, that's just the little small wire, little small shit. So with that being said, when the frequencies start rising, you know, they have to monitor these big wires. Because believe it or not, and you know, we all drive much faster on the interstate, and we don't have to stop. That's why we go on the interstate, because you can get where you need to go in a fast manner, and you don't have to worry about red lights and green lights and all that shit. All that shit, the red and the green lights, it helps stop the frequency, and it helps regulate how fast people are moving. Now, with this being said, some people like, and I've said it before too, a lot. Some people like, we were scattered everywhere, and so we couldn't be together. And now that's true. The same way, like, we hold individual frequencies, some stronger than others. If we get together, it grows and grows and grows. And you got to realize, like, your frequency can hold a 10-mile radius, a 50-mile radius, 100. Your frequency can stretch across state lines. Guys and goddesses, like, your frequency can grow to be that strong. That's why they put us in these boxes. That's why they put us in these homes. That's why if you go to a job 9 times out of 10, you indoors. You're indoors. And we don't use lead paint no more, which not only protects us from electromagnetic radiation, but it also was creating a barrier to distinguish our energy and our frequency from the outside, the lower frequencies. Because you got to think about it. If the lead paint was blocking electromagnetic radiation, that was helping your frequency when you went inside. That was defeating the purpose of why they build these square boxes for us to get into. So they said, and they always gonna say some stupid shit to scare you. What they say, lead is that shit poisonous. That shit'll kill you. Man, when I got my first apartment, I don't forget this shit. When I got my first apartment, the lady was like, and they use lead paint, just to let you know. I don't know if that's a hazard or not. So I'm young and shit, but I always looking at stuff. So I'm like, fuck. If the shit was that dangerous, y'all wouldn't have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, like, give me the crib. I need somewhere to stay. So I moved. Anyway, after I got some of my stuff in, I like, let me double check this stuff. And I found exactly what I just told you about lead paint. And it blocks EMFs. I didn't understand the significance of it at the time, but just being how I was, I thought it was funny. Because I was like, the government don't want EMFs getting blocked. But anyway, yeah, that's why they put us in these homes, because the longer we outside, the more often we go outside, our frequency go like this. It go like this. It started growing. And see, a lot of people, they can't be around you, yo. They can't. It's dangerous for a lot of people to be around you. One of the number one thing that'll happen is they'll get cancer. They'll start getting cancer. Because you see, I didn't say that, my bad. Ultraviolet radiation, it can't be seen because it's shorter waves. It's like short. When I say waves, I mean like, now, low frequency would be like, you see what I'm saying? Because it'd be less frequency. Like if you got a straight line and you got big waves, boom, boom, boom. See the frequent of that line? Of the wave hitting the line? And if you got small waves, boom, 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 boom. You see it? So That's pretty much in a nutshell the frequencies, the frequency of your electromagnetic waves. That's why your heart start racing. Like I was saying in the video before last on my TikTok, I was like, when your frequency rises, your heart start racing, and you get scared. No, that's your frequency rising. Cause look, boom, 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 boom. What the short waves do? Boom, 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 boom. And there's long waves, boom, boom, boom. So that's all that is. And the reason why some people die, because their vessels can't handle the frequencies. Because I'm telling y'all, like, you're going to activate, your heart going to be racing, some people going to be confused, and everybody not going to experience this. But the people that's prepared, well, if the heart going to start racing, your eyes going to be dilated, your pupils going to be dilated, and you just going to be like, but I used to have crazy trips. Like I used to do shrooms. I've been doing this stuff for a minute. I used to do ecstasy a lot back in the day though. And I had these crazy trips. And I just be like, man, that was weird. I don't, you know, when you come down, you're like, that was fun, but I'm glad that shit over. You know, you be like, damn. So I was having one of them moments. And I'm like, I wonder what could be the perk. Because I know, I like I said, all of us have somewhat been subconsciously guided in a way. Or we just had that knowing. And I used to always be like, I wonder what's the purpose of all these crazy trips that be scaring the shit out of me. And now you know. Because I know some of y'all had some of the same experiences. And now you know. You get a little, it's giving you a little dose what it's going to be like. Like I said, not everybody, you know who you are, some of us. But I might do a video about activation. The only reason I don't want to do a video about activation, because these motherfuckers don't know a goddamn thing. And they watch motherfuckers like me and you, so they can try to get the drop. Because see, they don't have no connection. So that energy I was talking about, that hits our retinas and goes to the photo cells, the photon, the cells that process the light, they don't have carbon, they don't have neuromelanin for one. So, besides just not having a connection, they cannot process the information. It's not for them. It's not on their frequency. It's very detrimental to them. Even just getting some of that knowledge is detrimental to them. See, they know how stuff works. So they feel like if they just don't know shit, then it might keep their reality afloat as long as they can by ignoring knowledge that would transform their reality and put them on game. But like I said, they can't handle those frequencies. Like I was saying, that's why the motherfuckers can't be around me. Like it's some people I don't even talk to you about conscious stuff, because I already know just them interacting with me, if it's meant to be, that my energy and my frequency alone will start to change them and help them. So I sit and I listen and I talk, I smile, because I already know what's going on. I already know what's going on. So the ones that the energy ain't for do the exact opposite. Like I said, 9 times out of 10 they'll get cancer or some shit like that. And like some of y'all probably end up working from home, or you get fired a lot, or you jump around jobs a lot. That's why, because they cannot take your energy. This is the last thing I'm gonna speak about. This ain't long, but because it's been on my mind for a while. This language that we speak is that's a good word I want to say. This language that we speak has 2 different meanings, basically. 2 different meanings. Like, everything we do is bullshit, man. Everything we do is bullshit. Basically, what they did is they created a system, a monetary system, to try to align with things universally to an extent to kind of satisfy the terms of universal law in a tricky and sadistic way to control things. But they overrode this monetary system. What I mean is, so as chosen ones, our frequency is sky high, right? So we should be the billionaires. We should be the millionaires. Because what happens when one of us become a billionaire or millionaire? We start changing shit. We don't go get a yacht and disappear. No, we start making change. We start building up enlightenment centers. Like, we know, like, we got all kinds of ideas. So with that being said, they overrode this system and put us at the bottom. They put the chosen ones at the bottom of this monetary system. And like I was saying, the English language is bullshit. So we'll say they might be around you, right? And somebody might, and this is like the small talk shit. Somebody might say something like, man, that game was crazy last night. Or it was supposed to rain today. And he might say, yeah. That motherfucker probably just said, such and such just, like, the god or goddess, such and such just got here and sat down, this, that, and the third. Their frequency is at blah, blah, blah. But all one of us heard was, that game was crazy last night. No cap. No cap, man. I'm telling you. No cap. That's how this shit be. That's how this shit happen around us all the time, man. This is what they've been doing. And then some of them even be communicating with the ones we can't see. That's like right around us. Like, I be chilling. And matter of fact, some of our people been coming down here too. Sometimes the shadow people or the things you get glimpses of around you, they're not always malevolent. Our people come down here a lot. Not mostly. Our people come down here between like 4 p.m. to like 4 a.m. No. I say, my bad. Later in the evening, like 6 or 7 p.m. until like 4 a.m. Like when it's dark. You can see when it's dark, man, they shit so fucked up right now. When it's dark, they gotta turn a lot of their shit off, and they gotta turn their shit down so low. That's why you notice it be hot as shit at night. Cause they gotta turn that low frequency force field down, or else they gonna have to turn it down when the sun come up. And that's the last thing they want to do, is have to turn all these low frequencies off when the sun come up. So they turn that shit down they turn all that stuff down and off when the sun go down. That's what I be saying. Nighttime is not real. It's their biggest ally. That's their biggest ally right now. But like I said, not only do our people come down here, but that is also a time, and some of the best times. Like I said, it ain't gotta be 3 or 4 in the morning. They start turning the shit off as soon as it get dark. Start getting dark. Boom, you can meditate. Boom, whatever you like to do to boost your frequency, or to hear your clairaudient abilities louder. Whatever you like to do, I'm reading some messages. Whatever you like to do, all right, that's a great time to do it. And that's when the solar flare gonna happen. That's when a lot of that shit gonna happen. But I'm gonna do another video soon, like this. I just hadn't done a little long one like this in a while. You can leave comments, are encouraged. Like anything you might want to elaborate on or something like that. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I trust some of y'all. I be talking to y'all and I be seeing comments y'all be leaving too. I be like, okay. And then when I used to do my lives, some of y'all used to come through with good information too. I'm gonna start doing them again soon. Y'all stay up. My love.